Talk. And today is a very special day because I have my friend, model Hunter McGrady with me. But before we jump into all that, I want to give SI Swimsuit a big shout out for thank you for hosting this entire week of amazing model inspiration stories. And you guys haven't seen it yet, you can go to YouTube and it will be on YouTube soon. And we are recording today. Now, before we get into nitty gritty about Hunter, I just want to thank everybody who has been so supportive with Let's Talk. For every guest that's come on the show, we have donated 500 masks to first responders. And today, Hunter also matching a donation. That means we're sending 1,000 masks to first responders through MJ Day, editor-in-chief of Sports Illustrated Swimsuit. She's actually hand delivering them to the East Coast Hospital. So we need to give her a thank you for that. So today, we're going to get into some fun stuff, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Well, Hunter, we worked together for just one time, actually, so far. We shot together this year in Bali, and then we can't show you guys a lot of stuff we have done because the magazine will be coming out later on this year. But I want to talk a little bit about your journey, how you got to SI. Because you didn't come in through regular casting.
No, I didn't. So, first of all, it's so funny. I can't believe we've only shot together once because I feel like I've known you forever. Like, you're just one of those people that make you feel very welcome and, like, loved right away. I started with SI in 2016. I was in a interview for a magazine I had shot for, and I got a text from my agent and it said urgent. And I was like, oh my gosh, they were literally recording me in this interview. And I said, oh my gosh, let me check this. Something might be wrong with my agent. Something's going on. He said, MJ Day at Sports Illustrated wants to meet you. She's downtown. Can you get there now? I was like, first of all, I cut the interview short. I was like, I'm so sorry. Not that you guys aren't great, but I gotta go, right? And I was wearing leggings, tennis shoes, and a V-neck sweatshirt or a sweater with a H on it, and my hair up in a ponytail. Not how I had imagined going into SI. And I met with MJ, and she had asked me to be a part of the magazine. Granted, of course, getting there, I started modeling when I was 16 years old. So that was kind of the beginning of my modeling journey as a whole.
Did you want to be in Sports Illustrated Swimsuit back then?
Since I knew what it was. I mean, like, I remember the days of, Cindy Crawford and Chrissy Brinkley. Like, I was so enamored with these women. My mom was a model. So, I had these kinds of magazines around my house all the time. But when I first started modeling, I was much thinner than I am now. And I never thought that was a possibility for me even then, let alone now, at my size. I never thought that was going to be a possibility. So that was kind of like a far-fetched dream for me. So, in 2016, when she asked me to be a part of, they did their model search, I was like, what? Really? I was like, you want me? Like, this is crazy. It was a year after Ashley Graham, and just to follow in her, footsteps was just like so like humbling and wonderful.
That's amazing. But when you saw, I wanted to visit that moment for a sec because it's so important that you mentioned Ashley Graham. And by the way, everyone, Ashley Graham will be with me next week, so make sure you tune in on that. So when you saw Ashley on the cover, what did that mean to you?
It meant it opened up possibilities. It meant that I was going to be, not me as a plus size model, but me as a plus size woman were getting chances that we had never gotten before. We were getting these opportunities, and I had not seen that really in the past. I mean, one of the biggest reasons I got into modeling plus modeling was I saw one magazine cover of Vogue Italia with 3 girls on it, Candace Huffine, Tara Lynn, and Robin Lawley. And that kind of rocked my world. And I thought, gosh, I hope this keeps happening. And then when SI did it, which was like this huge American publication, I was like, okay.
It shattered perception out there, didn't it? It just completely shattered the perception what straight size, medium size to plus size, whatever that meant. by seeing Ashley Graham on that cover, it really shattered a lot of perception for all of us. For you as this model, and you were working since you were 16, but at a different size at that stage of your life, it was almost a new lifeline for you, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
It opened up so much. You know, I never knew that something like that would be possible because I didn't grow up with society saying that it was okay to be in my body. You know,
Well,
and that really opened up so many doors for other brands to see and follow in SI's footsteps.
well, what's interesting is that as a photographer, I've been shooting for SI for 10 years.
Yeah, you're the
And
OG.
oh, gee. And true. And in the beginning, I have to say, I had to learn as well because I only knew one size, right? We were photographing models and everybody was size 0, 2, maybe 4s on the curvy side. But I never realized at that time, even at that time, I didn't realize that there are sizes 8, there's sizes 12, and size 14, and so forth, and plus size. And because we only taught one thing, right? You go to model agency board as a photographer, you're casting, you get runway models, sample size, and then you get a whole range of nobodies, and all of a sudden plus size. That range, there's a whole gap completely dismissed, marginalized. It doesn't exist in the fashion world. I'm saying this about 10 years ago. And as MJ Day took over as editor-in-chief, she really wanted the community, to build a community for you guys, for the ladies, that to know that, okay, listen, we're not just looking for one particular body type. Now we're looking for body type. Not just that, we're looking for mind, body, and spirit. All those things need to come together and culminate together to create a perfect entity. And then that entity is a beautiful woman that happened to be in front of my lens. Then the responsibility comes to me as a photographer to go, how do I then capture these things that is now the new branding for SI? And that was, I don't want to say the challenge, but it's a learning, it's a new learning, because every job, as you know, as a model, you show up and you go, oh, I'm modeling for this brand today, I'm going to be this way, right? I'm modeling for that brand. So for me, SI had embedded in me a certain way to photograph women. In the last 3-4 years, I have to say, what amazing education to photograph you guys in the perspective of your vision, what you think is beautiful of yourself. And that's the biggest change I've seen in the last 3-4 years, in the last 3 years, for not just SI, but the way what Kate Upton has done with SI, what Ashley Graham has paved the road for SI, and what you have done for SI, it started to change the climate for everyone. And we know that because we're going to talk about how that climate have changed and put you on QVC. We'll get there, because that's what's really exciting for me, is to know that, you know, the growth, what we do in this industry, how you grow into this industry. Talk a little bit about your mom being a model. Was it a pressure for you to be a certain way?
So absolutely not. So I grew up with my mom was a model. My dad is still an actor. So I was always in the industry, whether it was on, you know, the modeling front, the acting, I was on sets, this, that, the other thing. And she basically said, listen, if you want to do this, great. If you want to be a doctor, great. If you want to work at a grocery store, great. Like, I'm 100% behind you. I am supporting you no matter what.
Wow.
But I had always wanted to be in front of the camera. I kind of lit up in front of the camera. I kind of was like, the moment it was on, I was like, oh, okay, this is exciting.
Well, it's your DNA, right? Your dad's an actor,
yeah.
And then you probably grew up on set. You probably grew up on so many different celebrity sets, and you grew up in front of the lights and the flashes.
Yes. And I loved it. I loved it so much, and I loved like the glam of it, and you know, it was just something I was really passionate about. And my mom never ever made me feel like I had to change. Like, I thought I had to change. I thought, because society had told me, you have to be a certain size in order to make it as a model, and if you're not that size, sayonara, see your way out.
Well, I'm going to put this picture up so everybody can get a little bit of perspective how you got started, where you were. So this is you at 18?
16. Yeah.
At 16. Guys, when I got this picture from you, Hunter, I was like, this.
You're like, is this you?
Wow, is this you? No, not it's gorgeous picture, a gorgeous version of you. But no, because I didn't know your history. And when I saw this picture, I go, wow, this is such impactful messaging that people need to understand and know your history. So this, you're probably size 0 then, right? This is size 0.
I was about 114 pounds and I'm 6 feet tall.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how you felt at that time, at that size, and what is the difference today?
So it's funny, I look at this photo, I know exactly where these photos were taken. I know how I felt during these times. I was still just certainly nowhere near thin enough where I had to be. Every agency I went into, they kept telling me, please lose weight. You're not going to work at this size. I got turned away from I had booked a job and I went with my mom to the job in downtown LA. I was 16. I'm like bright-eyed and bushy tails. And I'm like, yay, I'm a model. I walked in and they were all staring at me and they said, the producer came over and she said, we're so sorry. We didn't realize how big you were. They didn't even give me a chance to try on any of the garments. They didn't give me a chance to do anything. They just simply turned me away. My mom said, that's bullshit. Give me gas money. Cause we just drove all the way down here. She was like, not my daughter. But that was kind of the catalyst to me really wanting to change the way that I felt about myself, because I felt very sad and I dealt with a lot of depression and anxiety. And that's why I'm such a mental health advocate now, because I went through that feeling like I had to measure up to be accepted, or I wasn't worthy of love. I wasn't worthy of success if I wasn't thinner. I wasn't worthy of, being confident if I wasn't thinner. That is the lies that I really told myself. And after that, getting it turned away from that shoot, I was like, I can't, if this is what it takes to be a model, this isn't for me. Like, I'm out, I'm done. And I took, 3 or 4 years off, and I really worked on my mental health. I went to therapy. I worked on nourishing my body and feeding it because I needed it, not because I needed to be a certain size. And I worked on, anxiety and depression and things like that. And
did you think all those things were attributed because people were saying no to you and people were judging you, and you are 6 feet tall? There's no way to ignore you when you walk into the room. Doesn't matter what size you are, right? Then your personality is very, very impactful. You move the room when you walk in, and I'm sure intimidating to people in a good way. Listen, I like the word intimidating. It's not a negative connotation, but it is.
Yeah, no, but it is.
So because of those assets that today I feel like they're the best assets that you have, but back then they were actually hindrance. They were barriers for you to be able to see those sort of goodness of you. And I say this with the most loving ways that I attribute to that negativity during that time. Because when I started shooting 15 years ago, I was told, you only can shoot these kind of models and you're going to be a fashion photographer. You need to live in New York, or else you're not a real photographer. You need to use, all these rules are set in the world of fashion and beauty that we constantly start questioning ourselves, right? I too question myself. If I don't live in New York, am I going to be successful? If I don't choose to shoot, if I want to continue to shoot what I love to shoot, and everybody who has followed me and know that I've been working with SI for 10 years for the reason that ever since I wanted to be a photographer, when I started down that journey, SI was my number 1, 2, 3 bucket list. Shooting for guests was 1, 2, 3 bucket list, and shooting for Victoria's Secret. And those are 3 gigantic blue chip company, big brands, but they come with a notion of commercial. They come with a notion that oh, you're shooting commercial girls, oh, you're shooting sexy girls. That means that you will never shoot for Vogue. You will never shoot for Harper's Bazaar. And those are the no's. And you gone through the body self-shame, you go through that body doubt. I go through the same thing as a photographer, start doubting your own work. You start looking at
I think so many people do, regardless of their work, whether they're, working a 9 to 5. Like, people, no matter what, there's something that they have to measure up to.
Yes.
And they doubt themselves. And I think it's beautiful where we can really come together during these times of, our self-doubts and we can connect. Like, it's so crazy to me that someone told you that you're not going to shoot for Vogue or Harper's Bazaar, and then here you are, like, I mean, how many covers have you done later?
But it's but till this day, I still, days I wake up and go, oh, I didn't achieve this. Is it because of that, right? Because we
Right.
go to, and we need people that simply do one thing, and that's kindness to each other. And this is something that Ashley Graham actually have taught me when I work with her quite a bit on shoots as well as on set, working together with her on American Beauty Star. And she has this one mantra. She's like, everything don't matter, just be kind.
Mm-hmm.
Be kind, because if you are kind, everything else that comes with the kindness is going to come with positivity. And I think that's what what MJ has done the last 4 years of time, that really try to shatter that glass ceiling. And I think she shattered it a few times. I mean, she shattered by putting you in the magazine, embracing who you are. And I want to show these pictures because these are so powerful to me. When SI did this In Your Own Words series, and you were part of this, is your second year, I believe, right?
Yes.
This is your second year, and you were part of this amazing group of women who wrote on themselves and photographed by a women photographer. It was such a special moment. I want you to share with us a little bit of these words of what they mean to you then and what does it mean to you now.
Oh my gosh, this was one of my favorite shoots ever. It was a very raw shoot. It kind of started as we had really no idea where this was going to go, and where it ended up was so beautiful. Each of us girls got the chance to really think about words that meant something to us and write them on our bodies. So for instance, like you can see, I have fearless, I had confidence, I had worthy, I had...
And let's not forget to mention you're completely exposed and naked.
I mean, really, and like the only makeup that I had resilient, powerful, all me. The only makeup that I had on was really like mascara, and it was very like delicate hair and makeup. They really wanted to focus on the rawness of each of us. And I think that was so powerful and so important. And I was so proud in this moment because each time I do SI, I think, this is going to be so wonderful, not just for me and my career, like that's like secondary. This is going to be wonderful for women to open this and see the rawness of each of us women in our bodies, loving ourselves and putting words on ourselves that we truly think define us. A lot of us are taught to think negatively about ourselves, or a lot of us will be like, oh God, like, yeah, I look really crazy right now, or I look, I'm gaining weight, I'm doing this, ugh, I look so silly. A lot of us have a lot of self-negative talk. And so to see what we truly think about ourselves and what these words meant to us was really powerful. I mean, I was like crying on set. Like
I was going to say, it must have been such an emotional, cathartic expression to go through. And in some ways, in the quietness of all the pictures, they're very meditative. And then for people, and what you mentioned just now, I think is so important for people to know, is that there are not many publications out there in the fashion world and then in the beauty world that truly, when you open pages, that they're about talking to you. Because 99.99999, I want to say that because I'm a fashion photographer, when I shoot covers, when I shoot inside stories, not so much about the models, you guys. They're about the clothes they want to sell. It's about making sure this particular watch is facing the right way. Model is almost the last thing we think about when we're shooting covers of magazine. It's which celebrity, which movie she's promoting. She's there for a purpose. And we all have a purpose what we do. And to know the purpose for SI is to be able to connect with people on an emotional level. And now with the new media that you can actually voice your truth, not just writing on the body, I think is so incredibly powerful. So I want to thank SI for letting me have this week to speak to you lovely ladies, to share these moments. Because honestly, yes, I photograph all you ladies, but I don't get to know you like I get to know you here. I didn't know you were size 2 and size 0. And shocking as it is, it doesn't change who I think of you. You could be size 100 tomorrow. I would still photograph you, right? It's kind of...
Well, I have to say, Yu Tsai, and I had told you this in Bali. When you shot me in Bali, I was I have never, it took me a minute to warm up. We had done our first shot and I was like, okay, listen, it always takes a minute to like warm up. Our first time working together, getting that feeling. But I have never in my life felt more comfortable in
Wow.
my skin than when you shot me. And like, I felt like it was just the most beautiful time. Like I like rave about this to everybody and they're probably like, shut up about Bali, shut up about all of it. Like, but I just felt like um, you really let me be me and you really like knew how to work with me. And not many photographers, know how to shoot a plus. A lot of times they're kind of like nervous too. They don't really know how to, because they're like, oh, that's a lot. My boobs
and
are.
we can talk a little bit about that. I had experience shooting for Torrid, which is a plus size brand, years
Yeah.
back, and I found so much joy and love doing it because the I don't want to. What's the best way for it? There's no limitation.
Yeah.
Everything that you're taught as a fashion photographer to hide, you actually now taught to accentuate.
Absolutely.
Right? Because on runway, the product girls are walking, even the hips, they make sure they wear stuff that doesn't show their hips. And
Right.
because for whatever reason in the 90s, we loved those hips. Cindy Crawford walking down with the hips moving, crossover legs, some angel involved. Those girls were incredible. And they have curves. Something happened between the 90s and 2000 that we decided to strip down all the sensuality, which I find most beautiful in photography. I find most beautiful in women when I photograph them. And it's so nice we come full circle back to, and past a full circle actually, and creating new wave of what is not just a trend, but the proper kindness and voice in our industry. And by doing this for SI, you are changing the perspective of fashion elsewhere because people are watching. Let's just give a little nod to Victoria's Secret right now. All the controversy they have, you know what? I'm glad it happened. I am so glad that happened. I'm glad the new wave of people came in and they realized we've done something wrong. They may never really apologize for it, but every action they're taking now they are taking
Speaks
lessons
volumes.
from SI. Now we get Golden Barbie, who's in SI, also in Victoria's Secret. And I'll tell you this honestly, guys, for 5 years, 6 years, you couldn't get them to cross over.
No.
They were just not supportive of each other. And that has to do with the management team. That has to do, there are a lot of people up there that we never get to meet and make these silly decisions. And whether we agree with them or not, I can say that the hashtag Me Too movement, the Women Empower movement, Don't Tell Me What to Wear movement that created by my friend Cindy in Asia, all those things are so impactful because they're not just a singular subject, they're a global subject. And it permeates through so many different industries. And I worked with a swimwear brand and also had my own lingerie line about 5 years ago called Love House. And I remember fighting with my partner at the time. And I said to her, I don't care for all these size 2s. Can we make plus size models? Can we make plus size? This is before anybody was making plus size swimwear. And my partner at the time just didn't get it because you have to understand your own market. That wasn't her market. She didn't understand it. But can I tell you, a few months ago when I talked to her, she's like, I should have listened. I'm like,
you were ahead of your time. You've been in this industry for so long, and you see when you are in the throes of it, you see the need of it ahead of time. Like, we all knew Victoria's Secret has been needing to do this for so long.
yes.
We all knew this happened, and SI was the first to really do this. And thank God for MJ Day, who is such a powerhouse, and she gets it.
So what is it? I think what people need to know is this. And a lot of people ask these questions every time we talk about SI, every time I go up to stage and talk to people. It's like, they ask, like, what does it take to be in a magazine? Right? What does it take to be in a magazine? And I said this almost every single day in this interview, and I want to say it again. It's because some people may not see all the interviews. Is that the questions need to be phrased, when are you ready to be in SI?
Absolutely.
So
much comes with it. I had no idea. And for the longest time, I thought, oh, these are just beautiful women. Then you meet these women, and they all have powerful voices. They're all so much more than just a beautiful face. and
And for
beautiful
you,
bodies.
you're the champion of body positivity and self-confidence and growth from a woman that's size 2 to a size, I don't know what size you are right now, so it doesn't even matter to me, but not size 2. But that range, it's also a range of confidence, a range of maturity. And when you're ready within that range, whatever that may be, to stand up and represent who you are, that's when you truly are ready, because that's what this platform has become. Because the ceiling has been shattered. It's gone.
Absolutely.
So that's MJ Day. She shattered the ceiling. It's a glass ceiling for a reason. It's for you to shatter. And some people don't want to. We know old fashioned, old school, Milan, Paris, they don't want to shatter that glass ceiling.
But yeah, they're lagging behind. We'll get there someday.
They have no choice.
Yeah.
they have to get there. And it's a shame, because you and I both know you can walk into Louis Vuitton and they will have plus sizes in there for you, but they just won't put it into advertising, which drives me crazy. It drives me insane.
I mean, New York Fashion Week, I said no to every show and party and gathering that was not size inclusive, and I had to turn down some of my dream fashion shows where they invited me to sit front row, and I said, well, A, do you make larger sizes? B, right. Are you having plus size models walk? Are you having any larger sizes walk? And if the answer was no, I said I wasn't going to go. And you know, it was really eye-opening to take that stand and to say, hey, listen, you know, this is something I'm so passionate about. If I don't take this stand, then things aren't going to change. Like, we have to each take a stand, whether
Absolutely.
It's in this industry, in your workplace, in your relationship, you have to take a stand. And it's like a domino effect. Everything else follows.
And when you took this stand, let's talk about this stand. Come on.
My very first shoot.
This is body painting.
Yes, I know.
Guys,
I was one of the last people to do body paint with SI.
Joanne is amazing, amazing makeup artist who paints realistic body makeup on you. And this, I mean, you were completely naked. How did you feel that day?
Oh my God, that was the best day of my life. It was so fun watching some of the people who were vacationing there just kind of double take, like, is she wearing a swimsuit? I can see the outline of her boob. I can see her butt crack. But yeah, it's funny because people still ask me to this day, they're like, there's no way that's body paint. That's real. I'm like, Joanne Guerra is like an icon in that industry, and she did such a wonderful job. It took 12 hours to paint.
Another thing I want to touch a note on, Josephine photographed you for this shoot. What was it like for you to work with a female photographer? Because predominantly the industry is still over inundated with men photographers, right? Yeah. So when you get a chance to work with a woman photographer, what's it like different for you?
It was amazing. She was absolutely amazing. It was her first time shooting. It was my first time with SI. I think I was the very first one to come in and shoot. And so we kind of like went through that together, which was really cool. And it was wonderful because she understood what I was going through. She understood the women's body. She understood through that lens what that takes and the way that it moves. And you know, it is a very different situation shooting with a female photographer to a male photographer. And it was wonderful. You know, it was one of my favorite shoots I've ever done in my entire life. Like, the whole day I was just on a high, and I honestly felt
safe.
So beautiful.
You feel safe and protected, right? And that's the challenge for young photographers out there. I get a lot of questions. People goes, how do you get the job to shoot for SI? And a lot of time, I look at the book and I said, the reason you want to shoot for SI is not here. Yeah. Just go shoot hot girls on the beach. That's what you want to do.
Shoot hot girls. Yeah, exactly. I can't tell you how many male photographers I've shot with who are so creepy, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, I've had moments where I'm like, I don't ever want to shoot with a guy photographer again, you know, and then I shoot with someone like you where I feel very safe and comfortable and like I can be myself. But you know, there's so many photographers where I'm like, make your person in front of your lens, whoever it is, feel comfortable, because you have to capture not just what's going on in their face, but what's going on in their head, what's going on, you know, with their body, everything. You have to capture that.
Isn't that funny that often, because it is a job what we do. Photographer is, we're doing a job. Hair and makeup doing their job. And sometimes the job becomes the predominant focus rather than the passion and love and being human beings sometimes. Because we show up, we need 30 shots in one day. All of a sudden, a model becomes the last concern we have. We forgot people don't make sure they eat, or the people don't provide the proper climate and clothes, and they get nasty, and we all get nasty. And those moments are so crazy that we allowed it back then. I've always been crazy, but not crazy in the way of like not eating, because God love food. So, and my number one priority, and I think that's a tribute to my success, if I can say that in this industry, is that models my number one priority. Their safety was my number one priority. I love them because they're like the dolls I never get to have when I was a kid. You know, I get to dress them out wherever I want to, and I want to take good care of them. And that's one thing that I know every model I got to work with, male or female, when they walk away, they can call the agent and say, that was amazing. That was a lot of fun. And it's not, and the agent will go, well, how was the pictures? And they'll be like, who cares? Yeah. I had an amazing time. And that I love. You know why? Because I'm confident enough. I'm going to give you good pictures, but I'm not always going to be confident that you're going to like me, because I'm still that nerd in school, in high school. I was that nerd trying to be friends with the jocks, and I couldn't be friends with jocks. I want to be friends with cheerleaders, and we all have the insecurity. So for me, I'm still going, am I cool? Am I cool? And
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
We're all thinking that. We're all going, is this okay? Am I doing okay? Or do they like me? Is this fun for them? Are they, you know what I mean? Like, that's just the inner monologue for everybody, when in reality, we're all just having the time of our life.
Oh my God, our friend Haley Seinfeld just said, love you both. We love you, Haley. I have to give her a shout. You said don't give shout outs, but I have to give her a shout out because we work together so much. I invite you to come on the show, by the way. I'm going to talk about your experience.
Yes, she's the best, and she has an amazing song out right now called I Love Yous. So all of you check it out.
Yeah, check it out. We're doing a little plug for her because we're friends.
Yes.
But all right, so I want to jump into the present. Now, recently you got married.
Yes.
How was that? What?
It was amazing. I don't know what I did to deserve my husband. He's just, he's so wonderful and so supportive.
He's think really sexy too. I met him.
It's so funny because everyone's always like, he's so hot. I'm like, he really is.
I remember when I met him for the first time with you, and I didn't know he was your husband, and you came up and introduced yourself, and I was like, oh wait, and I didn't know you were married, and you were so kind of like, I want to shoot with you. When can we shoot together? And I wasn't even listening to you. I just keep looking at your husband. and I'm like,
I'll have to tell him that. He'll be so
MJ's over there. Go ask MJ. I go, who is this hot guy over here at this party? And you're like, Yu Tsai, I'm right here. I'm here, and that's my husband. You want to talk to him? Right? You gotta talk to me first.
He'll love that. That's gonna make his day. I'm gonna tell him that. He's gonna be so happy. Oh my God, that's hysterical, Yu Tsai.
It was really funny because we were in Florida. We were in
a club or something.
Yeah, we were in a club, the wrap up party, and I was like, wow, okay. Well, I'm all, okay.
He's a cutie pie, and he's 43, and he looks like he's like 30. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. He's just like, it's Italian.
Well, fast forward to the present. Not only did you model at age of 16, you broke all the rules and came back as quote unquote plus size model, only in the industry, and now you start your own brand. So yes! I want to talk about this brand. So tell me, how did this beautiful brand called Allworthy came from?
So I have been passionate about creating a fashion line since I can remember. Since I knew what fashion was, I was like, one day I'll get there. And when I was talking with my team about who I wanted to do it with, you know, we had a few meetings with different people, and then we came across QVC, and I met with them, and they said, hey, listen, these are our values. And I said, wow, those really align with my values. And they said, by the way, we've been doing inclusive sizing for many, many years. Most all of their brands there, they have Lisa Rinna, they literally, there's so many. They go up to a 3X. And I said, that's amazing. And they said, by the way, for your line, we would go from an extra, extra small to a 5X.
So let's give
I was like,
our viewer a little bit of education on sizes. So most fashion lines, as you go to the store, you'll see a petite, and you'll see a small to extra large, and it kind of stops there until extra large, and maybe it stops right there, and that's the spectrum of clothing. So when you start making plus size clothing, the samples are completely different. The pattern needs to be evolved and changed. So I'm gonna say this: a lot of people don't do it because it costs more money. That's number one. It costs more money to create the patterns and so forth. And then it requires more shelf space if you have extension of a new line, right? And people always fighting for that shelf space. So when I heard you paired up with QVC, I thought, wow, that's no brainer. That's brilliant, because you're not fighting for shelf space, and you're not fighting to do inclusivity, because they already have that DNA within the brand. So this is a magical pairing. So I know you're going to be on QVC soon.
May 1st.
May 1st, you guys. Make sure you guys follow Hunter's Instagram so you can see her on QVC.
I'm so excited.
But the line actually launched last week.
Yep, it launched the 22nd. So it's the 4th today? 25th. And it's been amazing. Like, the response has been absolutely amazing. It's so crazy because, the first drop I'm absolutely in love with. But then, as I kind of got my bearings and was like, oh, wow, they're really giving me creative reign. Mm-hmm. I was able to really get my feet wet and create more and more things that just are spectacular. So, like, we have more coming out end of May, and then we have, a summer drop, a fall drop.
It's important, Hunter, for people to know that you did not just give your name to QVC. You are designing. You are on the ground there working, and you are studying the market.
Paper, sketching.
Yeah. And you're looking at the market, and you're going, this is what the market needs. These are my demographic. These are my fan base. I know it. I live it. I'm in it. Now, really important for people to know as well, you're not creating a line that is for plus size women only, right? This is all inclusive, but you come from a perspective of understanding how to dress a plus size woman, which in average Americans are plus size, right?
Yeah, 72% are a size 16 or above. Like, so that huge gap of a market is missing in this fashion world. Like, I don't have the luxury of going down Fifth Avenue or in Soho and just going into a store and shopping. So, to kind of create something where me and my girlfriends who are a size 2, we can all wear the same garment, that's been a dream of mine for so many years. And to be able to contribute to that dream in even this way is, like, so mind-blowing and surreal.
And you're designing clothes. I mean, I'm looking at your clothing and I'm already broke it down in my head. You're not making rompers and covering yourself up. You're making body conscious clothing, conscious in a good way, not body conscious of hiding, but body awareness, and body isn't, you're accentuating the waist. So you're showing that you have curves. You're not hiding your body.
It's important, for so long I was told to hide everything. Like, even for my wedding dress.
How many times you're doing a fashion shoot and somebody goes, oh, it's okay. We'll give you something that make you look skinnier. Oh, we'll hide your waist. Oh, your boobs are big. We're gonna cover that up. Don't worry. And that happens a lot in our industry. And it's so nice to see that you're designing. When I heard you were designing, I was waiting to see what's gonna happen, right? When Ashley Graham was designing for all womankind, I think I forgot her brand name, the swimsuit. I wanted to make sure that this was for all. I wanted to make sure that when it comes out, it will have 2 pieces, not always gonna be 1 piece. And she did that. And to me, that's when I'm really proud of your guys' vision, that you're not loaning your name to a brand just to put labels on it. It's not private labeling. You're not you're not going to Asia or Turkey or somewhere to buy already made and put your own label on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Are working, and these are made here. And I am so proud of you.
Thank you,
I am
Yu Tsai.
so proud of you.
Thank you.
And because I've been through that line, down that road before of making garments, and I know how difficult that process is. And it's like having babies, right? Each one of those garments.
Well, everyone always asks me, they're like, what's your favorite? I'm like, how can I choose? They're like my children. And, like, I have a whole rack of them sitting over there that aren't even released yet. And I'm just, like, biting at the bit to, like, share them. I'm so excited. It is so much work goes into it, but seeing your vision go to paper, go to something tangible is, like, wild.
And it's going to be really amazing to begin to feel how the consumer react, and because they're going to be your resounding voice. What is your favorite piece? That's going to be it's so fun to watch designers to work with. They sometimes don't know what their signature piece is, right? Halston always said that he never realized that little asymmetrical cut with the V-neck, V leg coming out is going to be a Halston signature. It wasn't his intent to do that, or nor did Donna Karan thought a little black dress was going to make her entire career. And so I can't wait to see what's that one beautiful piece that it becomes Hunter McGrady's signature piece.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited.
Now, what's next? You got the empire going. You got your brand working on. I know you're spending a lot of time, and you got married. Everything seemed to be in a nice, positive projection. What's next?
You know, I would really love, I would just love to grow the Allworthy brand. I want to continue, breaking barriers in the modeling world. And I would love to, continue breaking barriers in the fashion world. Kids possibly in the future, down the line. Right now it's a little crazy because I feel like everything's kind of like jumping in at once. But I really want to build Allworthy as a brand, and not just the brand on QVC, but like as a person and as
lifestyle.
You want to
be a lifestyle.
And, yeah, really reminding women that they're worthy and they're important and that they're heard, and I want to continue that narrative for them.
And that's awesome, because that's what we need, that, right? We need,
yes.
and I hope that people understand this messaging, and there's a lot of people I don't want people to misunderstand the energy of Allworthy. Allworthy really is all inclusive Allworthiness, yes. And believe it or not, you guys out there, Ashley Graham, Hunter McGrady, they're not just there to inspire the plus size model genre. Where you gotta look at deeper. You gotta look at who they are, and that's what we hope to do as photographers now. What we hope to do as Sports Illustrated brand is to make sure that you seeing beyond just the physicality of the person. What I am most impressed with is a selection of models and that representing the brand have all in their own way branch off and become a brand of their own. And it's 100% celebrated, right? This is what we want to see. What MJ Day's best wish for each one of you girls is not just shoot out beautiful 5 pages, 20 looks in that day, is what do you do with those images? What do you do with the reflection?
I wouldn't be here without, I wouldn't be given this platform or doing Allworthy with QVC without Sports Illustrated giving me this platform. I mean, she really took a chance on me and said, listen, like, I believe in you, and now you believe in you. And I would not be in the position that I'm in without Sports Illustrated giving me this platform.
Well, this definitely has been my longest relationship with any brand. This surpasses all the brands.
Yu Tsai, I want to ask you the same question. What is next for you? I'm curious.
Well, I just did an interview. Somebody asked me this question, and it's funny because I lived in a way of present. And that means that I'm constantly pivoting when the world moves and evolves. I studied biology, and I wanted to be a veterinarian. I love conservation. I wanted to be a zoologist.
Wow.
I worked in Africa for a very short time, and I was there. I went to Kenya, back to where I was studying on the Sports Illustrated trip last year. So it came full circle with that. So my passion really still lies in environmental conservation. I don't get to do a lot of work in that because the industry I am now. But I know that everything I do, it paves the road for the next capability of mine. I know I have the capabilities, but sometimes I'm not ready because I don't have all the foundation there. And case in point, Let's Talk is here. It's because the foundation and relationship I built with each one of you girls. I can be a photographer of SI, but if I call you guys, you're like, you were the creepy guy on set. No, no.
Exactly. I'd be like, no.
Do you know what I mean? So I live knowing that the action I take today is going to affect what happens tomorrow, next day, because I can't plan it. I can never have planned to go to Asia and shoot a travel cooking show.
I mean, Yu Tsai, you wear so many hats. It's so inspiring to me because also, like, you're literally making sure, like, our frontliners get masks made. Like, you have that connection. You're using that.
that I have to attribute to my family, my brother who's an import explorer. He's been in the business with me for a while now. He's always handled the back and he's never in front of the cameras. And he came to me when I did this Let's Talk the first week. He said, listen, you're doing this thing, make it more purposeful. And I go, okay, help me. What do you want me to do is more purposeful? He goes, listen, I can bring masks in. I already have 30,000 coming in. And I don't know where we're going to get them to because hospitals won't take them right away. They have to go through all this stuff. And I go, wait, let me call MJ Day. Her husband is a doctor who's able to actually connect us with all the hospitals and where we need to go. And I was inspired by Camille. I mean, Camille Kostek inspired me, and she's a model in a magazine that I photographed when she was just the first starting up contestant, a model search contestant, right?
Yeah.
She inspired me to do this.
She's
so
amazing.
It's not just me. Yeah. It's not just me here sharing story that you that what you can inspire others. I'm here letting you guys know that you ladies inspire me on a daily basis because that's what's next for me. I want to know what impact I can make on the next thing I do, whether or not it's a hot sauce I'm making, which I have a hot sauce coming out, whether or not
Yu Tsai, first of all, we need to flip and do a Let's Talk with Yu Tsai because I think a lot of people would be really interested to hear questions for your end.
Nobody haven't gotten a chance yet. Maybe you'll do one. I'll jump on with you.
I would die to do one.
So I think for me, truly, as I get older, I enjoy spending time with my godson. You know, I enjoy spending time with family, and I find so much joy on sharing food. And I don't know what's going to be the next thing. I just know that I'm already on that next thing. That makes sense?
It's going to be major, whatever it is.
Who would guess I would be a fashion photographer when everybody said no to me? All the no's with fashion photography when I first started. My own agent, who was my directing agent, because I was a director, I was TV commercial director first, dropped me because I said I want to be a photographer. I'm like, I have no agency. Okay. I went to New York and rented a little apartment with my friends, sleeping on the floor. We shot every single day. No model agency would give me models at first. No hair and makeup people would show up to do makeup and hair with me. From all that, to be here on the SI platform with Hunter McGrady, who has a line at QVC. Yeah, I could have never told you then this is what's going to happen now. How can I tell you what's going to happen then, tomorrow, and next day when I'm here now? All I can say is that I adapt really well. I like to be able to be part of the franchise like this and still have positive voice. And it's always been my dream to be on television when I was younger. But again, that's a whole discussion that I'm going to have in 2 weeks. I'm having a whole Asian panel for an entire week. And it's about Asian models breaking boundaries in America. And it's an agency called Normad that Coco Rocha actually started it.
Yes.
I love this. A white girl starts an agency to bring Asian models to America. So that's going to be a fascinating conversation because she's a supermodel and I love her. So it's moment like that, and moment like these, even COVID, it's teaching me so much, right? Yeah. Teaching me that, oh, you want a talk show? You want to have an audience? Okay, I gave it to you. You have 500,000 followers. You have an audience in Asia that you've done these TV shows, but what are you going to do with it? Yeah. What are you going to do with it? And now, every day, instead of making money, I'm donating money through this channel because I truly believe more you give out, more comes back. And we have people like Mila Jovovich who donate 30,000 masks.
God bless her.
Just like that, you know, and we have so many people. Today, I got contacted by just 5 people locally here giving food to first responders. I said, can you share some light for us so people can see what we are doing? And I'm like, oh, I need to do a double feature next week then on food. I need to show people these restaurants are doing such good things. And when I know what I'm doing, I don't care if 500 people watching right now or 1 person watching. That's one thing I have to tell myself when I started this. Not to think about how many people are watching, but just think about what your true core kindness that you like to bring. And that changes the whole perspective.
It absolutely does. It's funny. Oprah is like one of my role models, and I've read all of her books. And she says, first she asks every person after the interview, what's your intention?
That's right.
Second, she said, someone asked me that, and I had the intention that I was going to be successful and that I was going to make a difference. So she goes into everything intending that. And that's what you're doing with this. And that's why you are successful. And that's what really separates. Go into each endeavor, small or big, to intend to inspire, whether it's one person watching or 500 people watching, just to inspire
because
one.
We put so much doubt in us. Trust, I know for a fact when I started this, first question to me is, who's gonna watch? And I'm so glad my team, one of the reasons I did this too, and since my last day with SI, and I want SI to know this too, is that I want to keep my staff busy. I want to make sure they have a paycheck. So I look at all my staff, I look at the people who have been working with me for, my staff have been for 10 years, 12 years, some of them 20. That's how long I've been in this industry. And I'm very core with my group of people. And I had to say, I went to them, I said, listen, the budget will be cut, but how much you need to survive this month, for the next 2 months, 3 months, and let me figure out what I can do. That collectively, one, we stay creative still together, and two, that we can produce content that's relevant because it'll live on forever. And this came, and it became more relevant and became more purposeful as every day grew. And then when Sports Illustrated with MJ teamed up with me to do the mass donation into this, to be on their platform, to talk about women empowerment from a men's perspective as a photographer, that to me is my TED Talk. That's it.
Amen. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That, I thank you. I thank everybody at SI. And the most gratifying thing for me every year is going to the launch and have the girls come up to say, I love my pictures. Thank you so much. And that to me, it's the biggest gift from you guys.
I can't wait to see.
Well, thank you so much, Hunter. And we can talk forever. And next time we might just flip the camera that you'll be on top and I'll be on the bottom.
I would
ask me
love
all the
that.
questions. And I love you so much. I love every bit of every ounce of the journey that you have gone through. Size 0 to whatever size you may be. Because you know what? Size doesn't matter when it comes to Hunter McGrady, you guys.
Amen.
And,
Thanks, babe. Love you.
I love you so much. And guys, don't forget to check out QVC. Allworthy. Website's available. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
I'll see you soon. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me. That was Let's Talk, and that was my last collaboration with Sports Illustrated Swimsuit for the entire week. And I will be back again next week. We have really amazing guests next week, and I will be posting that on Instagram soon. So, guys, I will see you again. And thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to be here with you and put a smile on everybody's faces as much as I can. So, in the meantime, guys, stay healthy and stay strong out there. I'll see you again next week. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.